the 5 shifts required to 3x triple your business by the end of the year. And the crazy thing is that these are things that are really foundational in businesses, but so many people get this wrong and they're focused on the wrong things. So I really want to take a magnifying glass to the things that are actually important in your business, the things that are actually going to move the needle forward. A lot of times what I see is people are spending so much time, so much energy, so much effort and money on things that aren't actually moving their business forward. And so they stay in this hamster wheel. They stay on this cycle of just doing the same things and getting the same results. So what I'm going to share with you today are going to be, I don't even want to say they're simple shifts, because when the shifts are made, they're going to make such a major difference in your business. We Hi, Joanne. How are you? Oh, actually, that was a side note. Thank you for posting that comment. So as I am going through the presentation, if you have questions, you can just type them in the chat here. If we have time at the end, I will open it up for questions. Like I said, there is a lot that I want to cover, and I also want to be really respectful of your time and my time and keep it to about an hour. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and share the presentation for you, and let's go ahead and get started. So let's see. Where is it? All right, hold on one second. Get this stuff out of the way. I love that. Yay. I know, I was just saying, like, normally my stuff is pre-recorded, but I really wanted to like do this live today. So as you guys have questions, like I said, just post them in the chat here, and hopefully we'll have enough time to have an open discussion at the end of the presentation. So again, we are talking about the 5 shifts to 3x your business by the end of the year, by the end of 2020. And this, for me, is for people who are really dedicated to growing and scaling a business. So you probably, hopefully, already have a business, you're established, you maybe have been doing things a certain way for a while, and you are ready to get different results. So in order to get different results, we have to do things differently. So you are definitely in the right place if you are ready to grow and you know that you have something powerful to offer. You know that your work is great, but something maybe feels a little bit off or doesn't feel like it's in alignment. Maybe you have resistance around certain things, or you're just not where you know that you should be by this time in your business. Side note, we all have a different journey. So, what could take somebody like 3 years to do might take you 5 years to do. What might take somebody 6 months might take you a year. So also understand and embrace that you have your own journey in this process as well. And you're also in the right place if you are willing to do something different to get a different and better result. You're established. You are already visible. You're already doing the damn thing in your business, right? So not necessarily for people who are brand new, although obviously all of this stuff could help and maybe would have helped if you knew all of this stuff before you started your business or as you were growing your business. You are definitely in the right place if you've invested in all the things, but something just hasn't clicked fully for you yet. I'm hoping to create that for you today and have you have that breakthrough and that aha moment today. And you are also in the right place if you're ready to see things from a different perspective and make the necessary changes that are required to really grow your business. This is not for you if you want a quick fix and or fast money. So I'm actually going to talk about that a little bit when we get into one of the shifts of, just really understanding and knowing like who your person is and how that affects the growth of your business. This is also not for you if you're not willing to unlearn bad habits in your business. Like I said, there are just certain things that we end up adopting or ways that we end up doing our business that aren't necessarily positive for us or they're not profitable for us. But we've just been doing them for so long that we think it's the only way, or we think maybe if I just, keep doing it, all of a sudden it is going to give me a different result. I don't even need to go there with you guys because obviously we know if we're doing something and it's not working, why continue doing it? This is also not for you if you're just starting your business or are unsure of who you help and how. So let's go ahead and get into the 5 shifts. So, shift number 1 is to upgrade your business model. So, your business model is essentially the structure of your business. It's how you make money, it's how you get leads, it's the way that you operate inside of your business. So many people get this wrong. So many people get this wrong because they are trying to copy or mimic or emulate a business model that doesn't even suit their own personality. So there's in your shift number 1, you want to refine your offer suite and your business structure so that you can maximize your profitability and scalability in Q4. So those of you who may or may not know me, I am really focused on growth. I am really focused on profit because there are a lot of people out there who are making a ton of money, right? And they're out shouting from the rooftops how much money they make. But the reality is their profit sucks. Their profit sucks. So they could be making 10 times as much as somebody else, but because of the way their business is structured, how much money they're spending, how big their teams are, the investments that they're putting in ads, they actually walk away with probably less than the person that's making, 5 times less than them. So business model is super, super important. And it really is foundational for you to grow and sustain your business. And guys, this is coming from somebody who has been in business. This is going on 12 years. Like, I just thought about that and I was like, holy crap. Like, I can't believe it's been 12 years. And I've never gotten to a point where I left my business or quit my business. Like, I know a lot of people who I started with back in 2013, back in 2014. I have no idea where they are. They disappeared. They went back to a job. They decided this was not for them. Their business went under, like whatever that is. So to be able to sustain your business for a really long time really hinges on having a business model that works for you. So when you're thinking about upgrading your business model, number 1, stop doing what everybody else is doing if it does not work for you. Even a mentor, even maybe somebody that you learned from before, if you are just trying to operate in a capacity that doesn't fit you, you are going to eventually lead to burnout if you haven't already. So if you are experiencing resistance, if you are experiencing just being exhausted all the time, being tired all the time, it's because you are not operating in alignment with what's good for you. So examples of this, guys, would be something like, okay, let's say your mentor or somebody that you learned from was like, you have to launch live all the time. Like, it's the only way to do it. People aren't going to buy from you if it's evergreen, or maybe you have somebody that's like, oh, just only do it evergreen. Don't do the live launching. So you really need to think about what is the structure that works for you. So like I said, this particular class, I wanted to do live for a couple of different reasons, but overall, my structure and the way that I like to present my content is actually pre-recorded. Like, it just works better for me. Other things you can think about with your business model are maybe how many offers you have. Maybe you have been conditioned to believe, or maybe you have adopted this idea that you need to launch a new offer every single month, right? Or maybe you need to launch once a quarter, but that doesn't work for you. Maybe you want to go full evergreen. Maybe you want to do live launching, but you only do it twice a year. So these are kind of the foundational structure things that if you are operating on somebody else's timeline or what works for them, it's not going to work for you. So you need to choose a business model that suits your energy. Number 1, so your bandwidth, how much time you have. This is going to be different, right? I always say this too. I'll talk a little bit more about this in the marketing piece, but let's say you're a mom of 5. I have clients that have a lot of kids. They have 3 kids, they have 5 kids. Their kids are in high school. They're dropping their kids off to sports. They're just so busy and they have so many things going on. And it just doesn't make sense to model your business after, let's say, a 25-year-old business coach that, is single, doesn't have any kids, is free, travel, can do all of these things, right? So we have to also remember, we have to go back to us. What works for us? What is best for our energy? What fuels us? What fulfills us? How much bandwidth do we have? How much time do we have to work within a day or in a week? And what our actual goals are. This is another thing too that, I talk about all the time. I talk about all the time is whatever your goals are, your financial goals, you want to also make sure that those are in alignment with you and they are actually coming from you. So when I first started my business in 2013, I remember the 10K month being like the holy grail. Like if you made 10K months, you were it. Like if you had 10K months, you made it. Like you were successful. Now in 2024, if you're not making $1 million months, then you're like a peasant, right? Like it's just like how dare you not make $1 million a month? How dare you not make $100,000 a month? So making sure that your goals are really in alignment for you and you're not just trying to strive for something because that's what's hot right now or that's what you've been conditioned to believe is the epicenter of success. So we want to really also define what success means for you. When you're thinking about your business model, you want to think about lead generation, delivery, how you deliver your products, how you deliver your offers, your sales processes. Again, going back to like, okay, do I want to launch live? Do I want to evergreen my stuff? Do I want to automate? What pricing structure do I want to have? How do I want to deliver my stuff to my clients? What feels really good for me? What feels fulfilling to me? Where do I show up the best? Where do my clients get the best result? Lead generation, another thing like that is something like, it's so funny. I just had a conversation with a client about organic lead generation, which again, like when I started, I didn't have a lot of capital. So I did the whole organic build on social media thing. That was so long ago. And so many things have changed that somebody coming in 2024 wanting to grow and scale a business, like that is not the way anymore. Right. So, maybe you have gotten into this thing of like, I only am going to do organic and this is the way. Like it doesn't, what my client said was like, oh, it doesn't count if it's not organic. And I was like, that's just and she called herself out. She was just like, that's so silly, right? Such a silly way of thinking. So even thinking about like how you generate your leads. Are you going to hustle on social media, post 10 times a day, post 60 stories, make a bunch of videos, go live every day? If that doesn't suit you, why would you do it? Why would you continue to do it? Maybe you're thinking about different things. Maybe you want to do affiliate stuff. Maybe you want to do partnerships, collaborations, in-person events. Like maybe that's more your style. So just making sure that all of these things are in alignment for you and your business and really operating from a model that suits you. That's the like baseline. And like I said, it's something that so many people skip or don't think about or don't think is that important. And it is so important for us to be operating our business and to be structuring our business in a way that makes sense for us. Otherwise, like I said, you're going to end up burnt out. You're going to want to quit your business. You're going to want to burn it down. It might work for you in the short term, but in the long run, you're not going to be able to sustain your business 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, 20 years, right? Another important side note when it comes to your business model is, what's going to happen to your business? Do you want to do this business for the rest of your life? Is it something you're going to maybe pass down? Is it going to be a legacy? Or maybe you might potentially want to sell your business. Yes, a lot of coaching businesses are being sold for literally millions of dollars. So you also want to make sure that your structure of your business model is being created in a way that if you ever wanted to sell it, you could. And the majority of people that are coaching, that are in this, online space, are definitely not positioning their business in a way that is going to be attractive to somebody to want to take over and take on, because it's just so dependent on that one person. All right. So shift number 2 is to revamp your marketing strategy. So this is a little bit different than the business model, but the same type of deal. Like if you're doing this someone else's way, it's not going to work for you. Okay. So you want to utilize marketing strategies that align with your upgraded business model, right? How you're generating your leads, how you're delivering your products, how many times you're launching, what products you're launching, how you're working with clients, all of those things. And when those two things come together, right, your upgraded business model, your revamped marketing strategy, then you'll be able to drive those consistent high quality leads and your business just becomes easy. So if you're in a position where you feel like you're doing all the right things, you are jumping on the bandwagon of whatever the hot new platform is or whatever the next, tactic that people are doing. And you're just like, okay, everybody says to do reels. Like I need to do reels. Everybody says to be on TikTok. Let me get on TikTok. So if you're like quote unquote doing all the things, but they're not the right things and you just feel stuck, this is probably the shift that you need to make. And it's within your marketing strategy. So, number one thing that I work on with my clients is finding their flow. So, what is your flow with your marketing, right? Some people, like I mentioned before, like want to go live every day. That might not work for you. Some people want to post 10 times a day. That might not work for you. So if you're just like, okay, well, this person's doing really well, they're making a lot of money in their business, I'm just going to do it their way. Let me tell you a secret. The reason why they are doing really well is because they are doing it their way. So if your circumstances, if your bandwidth, if your energy, if your time isn't the same as that person, then your results aren't going to be the same. And I think that's something that people fail to realize. We just automatically are so enamored by numbers, by big numbers, that we're just like, oh, I'm just going to do it that way because that seems to work. So you have to find your own flow. And typically this happens with, just being really real with yourself, number one. And number two, tracking, right? What works for you? What feels good for you? Now, it's funny because I'm looking and I'm like doing this live class today, feeling really good this week. And now I'm looking forward. We're not going to get into this in the training today, but I have my cycle starting next week. So I know for a fact that like that week of the month for me is a slow week. Like I don't really feel like doing anything. I probably am not going to want to make videos that week. Probably not going to want to interact with a lot of people that week. And I want to give myself rest and, care and like take care of myself. Right. So you got to find your flow when it comes to your marketing strategy. What works for you? Do you like to just throw on the camera and like talk in your stories? Do you like to go live? Like one of my girlfriends, I've been friends with her since literally the beginning of my business. And it's so funny because we're alike in so many ways, but we're so the opposite. So for her, she loves doing live. Like she will go live every single day. Her people love her live. She makes money when she goes live. And I, on the other hand, am a little bit different. I love to write. I love to send emails. I love to have pre-recorded trainings. My people love to, download my trainings. I actually just did a poll in one of my paid groups yesterday about, for webinars and classes and things, do you like live or do you like instant access? And the majority of the people said instant access. So it's like, you have to know, which is actually going to be the next shift, like who your person is and how they're going to absorb your content as well, and how that all works together. So just because live streaming every day works for her does not mean it works for me. It actually does not work for me at all. And just because I love to write and love to send out emails and love to sell through email, and I can send an email and literally have a sale within 5 minutes, that's something that she's struggling with. So she's just like, man, I just want to make money off of an email, and it's just so funny how it's like just so the opposite. We have obviously different niches. We have different ideal clients. So this is the part where if you're just emulating what somebody else is doing and you're only seeing the exterior, it's going to be really hard for you. It's going to be really hard. So with your marketing strategies, also think about the platforms, right? So I talked a little bit about the formats, but what about the platforms? Like some people are like killing it on Instagram, and then other people are just like, I cannot get my flow on Instagram. Like it doesn't work for me. I love Facebook, right? Or I love Facebook groups, or I love LinkedIn, right? So you also want to just align with like what platform really works for you, what formats really work for you. One of the tricks that I always say is like, if you were to sell something, right? What is the way that you're going to show up the most confident and sell the best? So like I have over the last 12 years have gotten really much better at video, but I hated video before. But I used to be like, I don't even want to show my face on video. Now I'm much better with video, and I will do video and I will do live things like this. And I will, do talking head stories on Instagram. But at the same time, if I really was like, how can I showcase my expertise the best, and where does my confidence show up the best when it comes to selling? It's writing. It's writing. So it's like, okay, that's where I'm going to go. That's where I'm going to flip. And in the example of my girlfriend, hers is not writing, right? Hers is live. So she can show up and sell and make money off a live stream. That's what she should do. So think about, for you, forget about what everybody else is doing. Forget about what it seems like is the right thing to do, because literally when you're scrolling on any platform, you have people, from all different places saying like, you need to do this, you need to do that, you must do this, you must be on this platform. What works for you? And go all in on that, because then when you do showcase your work, when you do start selling, when you do start making offers, you're going to feel confident. And people buy confidence. Talk about that in a second too. But people buy confidence. So what format, what platform, what flow allows you to be in your best state? Allows you to feel the best when you are showcasing your work, when you are delivering your work, when you are making your offer. So much like the business model, if your marketing strategy is based on someone else's flow, lifestyle, bandwidth, it's not going to work. So like I was saying, some of my clients, like if you're a mom and you're a busy mom and you're driving a lot and you're taking your kids to sports and all that stuff, probably going to have a different flow and a different marketing strategy than somebody who doesn't have all of those responsibilities. So you want to take that into account as well. I'm not saying that you can't learn from those people, but if you try to emulate their marketing strategy or you try to emulate their business model, likely it's not going to work. So you want to just really figure out and pay attention to where you feel the best and where you show up the best. All right, so let's see here. Joanne, hey. I haven't done live videos because of a personal circumstances, but I've still used other options that I've learned from your work for me. I also love to write. Good to find your flow for yourself. Absolutely. We have to have our own flow. It's the only way that it's going to actually work. All right, so shift number 3 is your ideal client focus. So some of you on here are in my freedom income formula, and this is something that we have talked about a lot. This is going to be such a major shift for you if you've been stuck attracting people who are not your ideal clients. If you've been stuck attracting people who were like, I can't afford it. I have a discount. I'll work with you later. I'm going to put you on the vision board. So we really want to redefine who that ideal client is so that you can attract people who are ready and willing to invest in your premium services. And when you start to speak to those people, it will increase your conversion rates and obviously your income. And it won't feel like pulling teeth, and you won't feel weird or icky selling, because you're actually making your offers to people who are looking to buy, people who are looking for a solution to their specific problem. So shifting your ideal client, you have to know who you want to serve, period, the end. So that's where it starts. Who do you actually want to serve? One of the pushbacks that I'm having with a current one-on-one client right now is she tends to revert back to who's currently in her audience, or her current clients who aren't necessarily the people that she wants to serve now. She's grown, she's elevated. The people that she's attracted were when she didn't know better, when she kind of was just taking on any client. She was taking on those hard clients. She was taking on those people who, didn't want to put in the work. Now that she's very clear on who her ideal client is, her marketing and things can follow that. But if you are unsure, or if you're just like, I'll just serve anybody who wants to work with me, anybody who wants to give me the credit card, like, let's do this, your business is going to be very hard as well. So know exactly who you want to serve. Get clear and unwavering about how you serve those people best and why you are the best choice for them as well. Because people hire mentors that are solid. People hire people that have confidence and conviction in their work. And if you are unclear, if you are doubtful, if you're unsure, people are going to feel that. And you're not going to get your ideal or your best fit client. You're actually going to get people who are attracted to that, the unsureness, right? They're attracted to that doubt, right? So we want to make sure that we are elevating who the ideal client is, and that it's somebody who wants to invest in the work that we do. Create and speak to those best fit clients. This is such a game changer because we tend to want to speak to everybody. We want to be people pleasers. We want to make people like us, right? But it creates this dynamic where people actually feel like you can't help them because it's like, well, this person is just so broad, so general. They're speaking to everybody. How do I know that they can serve me? Now, here's the deal when you are looking to elevate your ideal client, a lot of times the people who are ready to invest and that are, really looking to solve a problem have already invested in all the things. They've tried a lot of different things. And so they're going to be more discerning and they're going to be more picky, essentially, about who they learn from, about who they hire. So when we are just kind of speaking broadly to everyone, those people are going to feel shut out. They're going to feel like you cannot help them because they've already done that before. So we want to make sure that we are intentional with creating and speaking to that best fit person. So if you are, for example, launching a program right now and you're just speaking to everyone, like speak to that person who's going to get the best result from that particular program. Now, obviously, this will change if you are launching multiple things, if you have different programs. But if you're in a specific launch for a specific program, you want to make sure, like, who is the best person? Who is the person that is going to get the fastest result, the biggest result from this work? And speak to them, because then you'll start to attract the people who are in alignment with you. And you're going to, when you actually run the program, you're going to actually get the client's results. And I don't know about you guys, but for me, that is key. I don't want to just market and sell to people and then have them, once they're in my world, like abandon them or them feel like, oh, actually, this isn't what I need. Like, so we want to make sure that we know, number one, first, like who are those best fit people, and then create and speak to that particular person. You want to use language that resonates with that higher level client who is ready to invest. So there's definitely a fine line here, especially when you hear a lot of people talking about like pain point marketing. And I do feel like we do need to understand the pain. We do need to understand what their problem is, or like I have here, we need to overstand what their problem is and then position ourselves as the go-to solution that they've been looking for. So again, remember, these are people who, they've done the thing. They're in motion. They have momentum. They've tried different things before. So we want to really use language that resonates with those things if we want to attract people who are more elevated and who aren't going to question, the investment. Because like, think about it. If you want to solve a problem, like a real problem, not just like, oh, like, what am I going to eat for dinner? But like, if you have a real problem that you want to fix and you've been looking for a solution, are you going to want to hire somebody or invest in something or go with somebody that just has a surface level knowledge of that thing? Or do you want to invest in somebody that is a specialist in that thing, that understands that thing, that really knows what you're going through and how to solve that problem? So we want to be really clear here. I feel now in 2024 more than ever, like we have to be really specific as well. I feel like in the past, we could have gotten away with being more broad, kind of helping people, all kinds of people. But now, because the competition is more, I'm not going to say it's better, but it's more, like more people are online, more people are selling things, more people are being more discerning in their investments. So we want to be very, very specific. Also, if you're speaking to that elevated client, like I said, they've already tried different things. So your general solution isn't going to work for them. So we want to be very specific, and don't be afraid to be very specific, because this is actually what's going to make you stand out versus being broad and general and speaking to everyone. Joanne says the energetics is so important in who we attract. Oh, 100%. 100%. We're going to talk about that in a few. I can tell it's about time for me to upgrade my ideal client. Yes. And here's my thing with when it comes to that is we're in the personal development space. We're in the business development space. Like we're in the healing space, spiritual space, right? Like we grow. We are, constantly evolving. We are constantly bettering ourselves. We are constantly looking for ways to grow and evolve. So of course your business is also going to grow and evolve. And with that, the types of people that you can support and help are also going to grow and evolve. So if you're in a space where you're just like, oh, well, it's always been the same person. This is who I want to work with, and this is who I'm going to work with forever. That actually just tells me that you're not growing and you're not evolving. Because as you grow and evolve, your business is going to grow and evolve, and how you can help people will also grow and evolve. So this is actually a really good sign. So let's get into shift number 4, which is mastering your mindset. Okay. So the mindset required really to operate at a higher income level is very different than just going with the flow or going through the motions. We want to be in a place where we can attract abundance, we can attract opportunities effortlessly. I'm going to dive into some stuff here that may be a little heavy, but this is such the important stuff that if you master your business model, if you change your marketing, if you up-level your ideal client, but you still have a shitty mindset or you still have a lack mindset, then it's not going to work. So it's like all of these things working together. Your internal pieces and your external pieces. So your external pieces being the business model, how you're marketing, your platforms, all of that stuff. But the internal pieces is who you be, how you think, how you feel, how you operate. These, I would say, are more important, even though they're not as tangible of a shift because you can't touch it, feel it, taste it. But you'll know when you've made these shifts when it comes to mindset, and shift number 5, which I'm going to be talking about in a second. So we really need to understand like what that mindset is that is going to allow us to attract these new opportunities, to attract those better clients, to attract more money into our lives. Let's get into it. So number 1, think about how you feel about yourself, what you believe around money, what you believe around success. These are like your core operating systems, right? So these are the things that are just like kind of running in the background. You're not really, outwardly thinking about these things every day, but you should be, right? Or at least in this class that you're having with me, like I want you to intentionally focus on like, what do I actually feel about myself? Like, do I actually feel like I'm the best? Do I actually feel like I know that my clients can get these results? Or do I doubt myself? Do I question myself? Do I think that I'm not good enough? Do I compare myself to other coaches that are out there? Like, how am I actually showing up, right? What do I believe around money? Do I believe that, people with money are bad? Do I believe that, rich people are, evil? Do I believe that money is hard to get? Do I believe that money is hard to sustain? What do I believe about success? Like, these are things that we really have to be intentional about because, like I said, they're just kind of operating in the background. And if we're not intentional with pulling that out and really shining a magnifying glass on it, then it's going to continue to run us. Think about also how you move through tough situations, right? Your underlying feelings and emotions. So let's say, for example, you are launching a product. You're launching an offer, right? And nobody's buying yet. You're just like, oh my gosh, I've put out my email. I've put out my, I did a masterclass. I did a challenge. I did whatever. People aren't buying. It is how you move through these things. It is how you move in spite of what it looks like that's happening that is actually going to create the outcomes for you. So if just because maybe you're not getting sales right away, or maybe the right fit people aren't coming in, you automatically think, I suck. This program sucks. I'm going to quit my launch. Maybe I need to launch something else. Maybe I need to lower the price. Like, then we start to just get into this downward spiral, essentially, right? So when I talk about mindset, I feel like this is work that is constant, and you really have to be intentional and committed with it. A lot of people aren't. This is one of the shifts that like completely transformed my business, completely transformed my bank account. was by really focusing and being intentional with those internal pieces and how I was actually thinking about myself, believing around money. I had a bunch of shitty money beliefs that weren't even mine. They were like brought on to me, through like how I was raised, my parents, what other people thought about money. So we really want to get intentional with
Wow! That was something. OK, fait que si ça marche, genre...
mute that person. Okay. Let's see. Okay. So this is going to be probably one of the biggest shifts. The next one is maybe bigger. But I left these for last because I do really feel like this is something that it has to be, you have to be committed to it. Like if you just do all the time and you apply all of these things in your business, but your mindset is crappy, if you're not embodying your work, if you don't really believe that you can have the things that you want, you will never have them. You will never have them. So we're actually diving deep into this in the Shift Your Money Shit Challenge. I think a couple of you guys are in there. If you want to be in there, just send me a DM and I'll give you the link to be in there. But this is such important work. And like I said before, I had a marketing background. Before I started my business, I was in marketing. That's what I did. I did, marketing for all kinds of businesses, physical therapy company, shopping center, restaurants. It was like actual, marketing strategy that I knew. So when I came online, like I already knew the marketing stuff. I didn't really need help with marketing, although it was a little different being offline than online, but I didn't need the like actual skill of what I did. I needed somebody to help me with this stuff because this was stuff I didn't even know. I was still, just operating off of what I knew before. So my mindset shift was huge for me and allowed me to open up to receive better clients, more money, and just seeing myself completely differently. But like I said, this is constant work. You have to be intentional with it. You have to be committed to it. And just because you're good at mindset or just because you've done a few things with mindset doesn't mean that bad things aren't going to happen to you. What it means is that you move through them better. You move through them faster. You can catch yourself when you've got certain things going on and, be able to shift that. So such an important piece, so much to cover here. We don't have time to do it in here, but I want you to start to think about at least these few different things. And this could be the catalyst to like change everything in your business because it was for me. Let's see. Joanne says, this year I really understood what mindset really means. Yeah, especially like Joanne, I know that you've been through some personal, things. I think all of us have. But it's like how you move through that. Like it requires dedication. Tanya says, I'm definitely in the wrong business model. I'm working against myself. Absolutely. Absolutely. And it's not your fault. We just have we have so much noise, right? In the news feed, so many people telling us like, oh, you got to do it this way and you got to do it that way and you got to do it that way. Like I'll literally scroll and like one thing says like, oh, you should be emailing your list every day. And then the very next post is like, don't ever email your list, So it's like, it's just crazy. Like the contrast of what it is. So understanding who you are is first, always. Right? Knowing what you are and what your goals are and what you ultimately want to achieve will allow you to create the business model, the marketing model, and the mindsets to get what it is that you desire. Alrighty. So shift number 5, which is probably the most important one because it's really about who you be. And I say that all the time. It's not necessarily about what you do. Yes, that plays a part in it. Yes, those things are important as a business owner, as an entrepreneur. We have to do certain things, right? We have to actually operate in certain ways, but we also need to think about how we're operating internally, right? And really stepping into a new identity is your shift number 5. So this is embodying the identity of a high-earning entrepreneur who is confident, commands premium prices, and attracts their ideal clients. Right? Like I said before, if you're constantly thinking like, oh, I'm not good enough or people aren't going to pay me, or like, guys, there are coaches out there that are charging the price of a house. okay? The price of a whole ass house to work with them. So why is it that that person can charge 50,000, 100,000, $250,000 to work with them, but you're scared to charge 500 or 1,000 to work, you know? So obviously there's something that's happening there that doesn't allow you to elevate into that new identity. So mindset is just the tip of the iceberg. I say mindset is really more surface level. So it's like how you think, how you feel, your emotions, that type of thing. Your identity is your embodiment. It's like literally who you are to the core. It's not just what you think, but it's who you be and how you operate on a daily basis. This is something that can't be faked. You can fake it, you know, there's people that fake it till they make it online, and they pretend and they cap and they do all this stuff online, and it's just like you're not tricking anybody. You can't pretend on this, because who you be determines and dictates what you're seeing on your outside world, right? So how you're operating on a daily basis. Embodiment. And to me, embodiment is authenticity and it's alignment. You don't have to think about this. It's just who you are, right? I give this example of like just like a very simple example that, okay, if I am a healthy person, right? Like I go to the gym every day. Do I really have to think about going to the gym every day? Do I really have to think about, what I'm going to eat for dinner? No, because I have already embodied a healthy person. Right now, if I'm trying to be healthy, then I'm going to have to be a little bit more intentional. I'm going to have to think about things. I'm going to have to catch myself until it becomes just who I am, right? Until it becomes like I get up at 6 a.m., I go to the gym, I eat this for breakfast, I eat this for dinner, right? So really think about it in like just regular terms. I also talk about like just like different things like, like for me, I'm like an SUV girl. Once I had my son almost 14 years ago now, I was like, no, I'm only going to drive the SUVs. Like I'm an SUV gal. I won't drive a car. Like it's just that's my standard, right? Like it's just who I am. So think about how these like normal things in your life, like maybe what you eat, what you drive, the types of like skincare that you put on your face, like whatever that is, you don't have to think about those things. You don't have to think about brushing your teeth in the morning. You don't have to think about getting a shower, like you just do. So you essentially want to take those things that are happening in your business and make it just who you are, so that you don't have to pretend, so that you don't have to try to figure out how to showcase that. It's just who you are. And that's why I say that embodiment is authenticity and it's alignment, because that's just you, right? There is no difference. What I love is like I haven't done any like in-person conferences in a little while. I actually just did a speaking event locally, but when I was going to speaking events a few years ago, people would always just be like, "Oh, like you're exactly the same person in person than you are online," and I was like, "Yeah, like who else would I be?" Right? But those people that are posers, those people that are fakers, those people that are like just trying, that's not attractive. Like we don't want to hire people that we feel like they're trying to be somebody. We want to hire people who actually embody the things that they're saying, embody who they're actually, pretending to be, not pretending, but who they actually are, right? So embodiment is so key to me. Identity, embodiment, they go together. These are your daily habits, your daily decisions, and how you show up consistently. I'm not saying that you're never going to have a bad day, or you might not go through tough times. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about automatically like just who you are and how you show up. All right. So let me check the comments here. I've met a few of those. Tanya says, "Oh yes, a new identity. I'm working on this now. Blonde. I used to be blonde. Now I'm back to black." Bugs me when they don't live what they teach. And here's the thing: nobody's ever going to say that. Nobody's ever going to say like, "Oh yeah, well I'm teaching you this, but this is actually what I'm doing." But you can feel it, and that's where the energy comes in. Right? You can feel it as somebody who's observing that person, that like something's off. right? Something's off. Joanne says very different in person than how they show up online. Yes, you've been an OG for all these years. You've been consistent, and the energetics. Yes, you feel it instantly, and you feel it instantly. Your people are gonna feel it instantly. So if you're not in full embodiment of your work, that's a huge, major shift that you need to figure out. So I just want to do a quick recap of the 5 shifts. And I want to hear from you guys which one. So if you feel like you need to upgrade your business model, just type in a 1 in the chat. So the business model is the structure of your business, the systems, how you're operating in your business. This stupid fly in here. Sorry about that. The shift number 2 was revamping your marketing strategy. So if you feel like this is the shift that you need to make, hit number 2. So creating a marketing strategy that is full alignment with you and how you best operate and how you best show up. Ideal client. I feel like we all need to shift this at some point, right? But number 3 is shifting your ideal client focus to those elevated clients, to those people who are ready to buy, the people who value investing. So if you feel like you need to shift your ideal client, drop a 3 for me so I can see where you guys are at here. Oh, lots of 3s. I knew it. and here's the thing, like it's an art. It definitely is an art. In like it's not a full revamp. And those of you that are in my other program like have heard me say this, like it literally is like a little shift that can make a huge difference in the types of people that you're attracting. All right, shift number 4 is your mindset. So who feels like I need to have a mindset shift? I need to open myself up to attracting better clients, better opportunities, more income, more money, all of that good stuff. Drop a 4 in the comments. That is your shift number 4. And we are right on time today. I'm like proud of myself for staying on time because I tend to be wordy. I tend to talk a lot. I tend to want to share so much. And I really hope that this was helpful for you guys today. So if you're a number 4, drop a number 4 here on your mindset. And then our final is an identity shift. This for me is like the most important. This is like, because when you can do this, like I said, if you think about people who are just successful, right? Like that's just who they are. Even if they have a setback, they always are successful, right? Drop a 5 if you feel like you need to upgrade your identity. This is like one of those things where they say, like people who win the lottery, right? Like if somebody wins the lottery, like there's like some crazy percentage of like the majority of those people end up losing all the money because their identity is not somebody that has a lot of money. Their identity is not somebody who's good with money. Their identity is not somebody who is wealthy. So they end up losing it, right? And the same thing is like the opposite for people who are rich, who have a lot of money. They might have a financial setback. They might even go into bankruptcy and then somehow they're rich again, right? Because that's their identity. So this is a really, really huge one. Like once you can really figure out who you are, what you want, and take the initiative and be committed to and dedicated, that's my new word, by the way, dedicated, to that new identity and operating from that place, everything's going to change. Not just your business, not just your finances, your life, your relationships, your communication, your body, like everything. So this is really like where most people need to kind of focus on in stepping into their new identity. Joanne says, this is what I've been teaching almost exclusively for the last 5 months. Yes. Tanya says, I love this piece, identity. I've done it so many times in my life, but this time it feels like I'm really doing it. I love it. Dedicated to operating in my new identity. Yeah, that word came to me and I was just like, because like I'm committed, I'm convicted, I'm unwavering. And most of the things that I do, that's just how I was brought up. I like have always had a really great work ethic. And it's just like, who do you be, right? Not just what you do, not just, only being praised or, reaching success because of what you do, but like who you actually are. So guys, I want to thank you so much for this. I do have something for those of you that want to go further and want to really dive deep and work on all of these 5 shifts together. It's going to be a small, intimate mini mind, 5 people only, and it's for 5 months. And we're literally going to work on each one of these shifts together. It's going to be customized to you, it's going to be personalized to what you actually need. And here's the word again. This is for women who are dedicated really to growing and scaling a business that suits you and your greatness. No cookie cutter stuff here. If you want cookie cutter, I got some cookie cutter stuff you can download, you can, take a part in. But if you're just like, you know what, I really need to like go in and dive deep into this work so that I can create something that's sustainable, that is going to feel really good, and that is not going to lead to burnout. Because if any of these things are wrong, right, your business model is wrong, you're only going to survive so long. If your marketing model is wrong, you're only going to survive so long. And it's the last 2 pieces that I talked about, which is the mindset and the identity, that's really going to fuel all of these things. So just reach out to me, send me a DM if this is something that interests you and you want to get more information on that. Just send me a DM. Don't be shy. And let's work on these things together.